which won't happen, but which I would favor, is that people have the right to refuse service to anyone for any reason, period. Okay, this is from Reuters. It says the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday will hear arguments in a major case pitting LGBT rights against the claim that the constitutional right to free speech exempts artists from anti-discrimination laws in a dispute involving an evangelical Christian web designer who refuses to provide her services for same-sex marriages.
Makes sense.
One sentence, by the way, from Reuters. The justices are set to hear Denver area business owner Lori Smith's appeal seeking an exemption.
That's really not that long of a sentence.
Based on sexual orientation and other factors. Lower courts ruled in favor of Colorado, including the Denver-based 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in 2021. Smith contends that Colorado's Anti-Discrimination Act violates the right of artists, including web designers, to free speech under the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment by forcing them to express messages through their work that they oppose. The case, of course, follows the Supreme Court's narrow 2018 ruling in favor of Jack Phillips, a Christian Denver area baker who refused on religious grounds to make a wedding cake for a gay couple. The court, in that case, stopped short of carving out a free speech exemption to anti-discrimination laws. So, in the Masterpiece Cake Shop decision, really the court just punted on the whole issue entirely. And,
yeah. Because I remember this was in 2018, where they basically were like, "Get out. We're not going to deal with this." So yeah, there wasn't any real standing on that issue, because it's not really hard. It's not a First Amendment issue. It's not. You're in the marketplace. Sorry, you have to participate. Sorry, don't own a business.
Did so pretty explicitly. It said, words to the effect of maybe another case will come along in the future that will decide. But they came down in favor of Jack Phillips because they found that the so-called Human Rights Commission in Colorado had been targeting him and like bullying and harassing him to
they should have bullied him more
extent. And so it was kind of a smackdown of Colorado's Human Rights Commission, but it was not an absolute defense of his free speech rights. And now they get a very similar case where maybe we'll finally get a ruling on that.
Which, let's be clear, let's clear this up for everybody, for all the for any leftists up in the cheap seats. This is what happens when Republicans gain power. It's when they get seats. It's when they can pick judges. It's when all this stuff happens. Now, I understand not everyone always wants to vote for, Democratic candidates, but these are the consequences, unfortunately. When there are leftist content creators who get on this or other types of platforms and they do their whole, spiel of, what's the word I'm looking for? When they do their whole game of, anti-Dem party rhetoric and stuff, this is the result. I remember like Jimmy Dore doing the whole, Trump becomes president, not that big of a deal, nothing much is going to happen. Those people seem to have very short visions, similar to mine, and don't realize that this is going to be the result. We get a highly conservative Supreme Court that could side with the web designer in this case. These are the consequences, unfortunately. And unlike the left, and this is where the right do get credit, they have been working incredibly hard for 20, 30 years, 40 years, who knows? But they've been working hard and diligently at making sure that the judiciary is at the very least leans in their favor in small state courts and federal courts. And they now have the Supreme Court. So, and they didn't pick the people that they put on the bench and the Supreme Court. Those people were not chosen at random by chance. No. Those people were groomed to be there. So keep that in mind. Next time you hear, leftists and, other content creators doing the whole, like, why should we vote thing? This is why.
Only this case, it's a web designer who, as far as I understand it, she proactively was suing this, the state government.
Also, I'm just going to say that person needs to get a life.
because of this so-called anti-discrimination law that would force her to, for example, design a website for
God forbid.
So rather than waiting around for her to, be targeted in that way,
We're going back to 1.25,
and now it made its way all the way to the Supreme Court. A couple points about this that we should keep in mind. First of all, in all these cases, whether it's a web designer,
also, I find it interesting that they're like, "Oh, web designer, totally different than a cake maker." They're not. They're just not. They're not at all.
Similar cases with photographers, wedding caterers. It always centers around the wedding.
Yep.
And why does it always center around the wedding? Well, that's because nobody.
I'd love to hear this.
Has actually refused service to gay people. Jack Phillips at Masterpiece Cake Shop. That's not what he did. Okay, it's not like there was a gay couple that walked in and he said, "Get out. None of your kind are allowed here." It's not what happened. In fact, Jack Phillips was willing to sell anything, any of the cakes that were available at a store. He would have sold to them, even if they wanted to use it for a wedding. They could have walked in and said, "We want to buy this cake. We're going to use it for our upcoming nuptials." Jack Phillips would have sold them the cake. Okay, he was not refusing service to the gay couple.
So, first of all, Matt here is doing what we call being a little liar here, because the point not only of these cases is not because X or Y scenario happened. That's not the point. The owner of that bakery would not make a wedding cake. That was their line, is they were like, "I will make you 99 out of 100 cakes that I could possibly make, but I won't make you that last 100 out of 100. The last 100 out of 100 is only for the straights," which is discriminatory. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I get it. The guy might have been like, "I don't care, they buy my, fucking, I don't know, cakes. They buy like my nice rhubarb cake and they just so happen to mention it's going to a wedding. It's fine. The rhubarb cake wasn't made for a wedding." And there, whatever mental gymnastics they needed to do is what they needed to do. But either way, if somebody came in and wanted a wedding cake specifically made for their wedding, that would have been that they would have been like, "Oh, nope, that's where I draw the line," which is, again, discriminatory. You have to treat everyone equal, not almost equal.
What he was refusing to do was to make them a custom cake for the wedding specifically, because that would be him participating in this event that he objects to on religious grounds.
Absolutely. And guess what? Discriminatory. Fucking deal with it. Hold the L.
Now, if you just sell a cake, if you just sell some pastries to a gay person, or if you're a photographer and you take a picture of a gay person, or if you're a web designer and you design, just any kind of website.
So this is the thing also. What Matt is expressing deep down is a desire to separate himself and people like him. Their desire to separate themselves from the existence of gay people. That's what they're upset about. That's what he's upset about. Specifically, the fact that I made a cake, Matt and, the Jack Phillip guy, their mindset was like, "Oh, well, I made a cake. I don't care what it's going towards. I don't care what it's going towards. The gays can come in and get whatever cake they want. But if they come in and they want a wedding cake and they want it to look the exact same as, some straight couple that comes in and wants to get a wedding cake, can't have that." And it like, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, Matt, and I'm sorry, all of you. I hate to break it to you, but there's no version where you get to opt out of gay people existing, because that's what they want. They just don't want them to exist. But that's not going to end up being a thing. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you, but There is not an option of I would like to live a no gay people in my universe world. Not happening. Not happening.
For a gay person, that's not you participating in something.
Fun fact, you're not participating. Also, in fact, the only thing you're participating in is the market economy, something for which you have to license with the United States to have a right to participate in. So keep that in mind as well.
A good or a service to someone, and the fact that you disagree with their lifestyle choices is like irrelevant. Just as you might object on religious ground to divorce, but if a person is divorced and they walk in, they try to buy a cupcake, you're not going to tell them, I'm not going to sell you the cupcake because you're divorced. No, it's about the event.
Well, yeah, but if somebody walks in and is like, I want a divorce cupcake, I want a cupcake with the word divorce on it, and you're like, no, no, sorry, not going to do that. Again, divorce, and they always play these games with different things. It's not inherent characteristic. I'm sorry. It's not. I don't know what to tell you. It's not.
I don't want to participate in that event. And although Jack Phillips may not have...
And understand, the event he's talking about is gay people being equal. That's the event.
Divorce party, and I want you to custom make a cake that says, congratulations on your divorce.
Woo.
Which would make that cake. He would have said no to that too. Because that's an event that he doesn't want to participate in.
Well, yeah.
He has every right to do.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Matt, but being divorced is a choice. Being gay is not. Which does clash with his worldview.
So that's what the Supreme Court's going to rule on. And, I think this comes, it's a freedom of religion thing. It certainly is.
It's not.
More so a freedom of association thing.
It's not. Oh.
It really doesn't.
What did I say? They just want to live in a universe where gay people don't exist. I'm sorry, it's free association. No, it's not. You run a business. You don't get to not associate with people when you run a business.
The reasons, like Jack Phillips didn't want to participate in the gay wedding, and his personal reason was that his religion, because of his religious beliefs.
Too bad, don't care.
But I don't see how the reason even matters. What does it matter what your reason is? Yeah, you have religious freedom, but I mean, why does he have to? He shouldn't have to even give a reason. I don't want.
Sure, he should.
I am a free person. I'm not your slave. I don't want to participate in this event because I don't like it.
You're getting paid. You're not a slave. You can't like that. That's not how that works. A slave would be you do it for free and with no financial compensation. This, you would get compensation. You're just, again, your business is not allowed. If you are a business and you're the only employee, guess what? Tough shit. Tough shit. I don't know what to tell you. Tough shit. Deal with it. Get an employee. Make them do it. I don't know what to tell you.
Don't you like it? Not your business. Maybe I'll tell you, maybe I won't. But I'm an American, damn it, and you can't force me to participate in something I don't want to participate in.
I hope one day we can get to the point where we force Matt Walsh to participate in a gay marriage.
Freedom of association to make their case. And yet they deny it to everybody else, obviously, as always, because that's how it goes with the...
stop whining. Stop whining.
Special rights, and even not special rights, that they want to deny.
Special rights. Remember that. They think you being equal is special rights, because they would find it ridiculous, the idea that you would refuse to make a straight couple a cake, a wedding cake. They would find that outrageous, because to them, they're like, no. That's biological reality. That's every other excuse that I have queued up in my conservative brain. No. So no, Matt, stop whining. They're only rights that, what's the old saying? I literally said it earlier and I already forget it. I think it's, when you're used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. That's all this is. He doesn't see them as equal, and he doesn't like the idea of them being equalized in our society. Simple as that.
Right, to everybody else. And this is another example of that. So there are really two versions of a kind of a right answer that the Supreme Court could come up with here.
Two versions of a right answer. Okay.
If they come, and there's also the wrong answer, right? That they could also, I feel pretty good that they'll have some kind of mostly correct answer
Well,
on this.
naturally, there's
always the
a
option of the wrong
majority
answer.
conservative
But when it comes to
court.
the right answer, there's and I feel pretty certain that if they have the right answer, it's going to be this, which is the limited version, which is that they find that people have the right not to participate in activities that those individuals have a religious objection to. So it will be a decision based around religious liberty, and that would be good. That's the
Right, which is cringe. Also, again, this has nothing to do with religion. Like their reason can be religion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what their excuse is. You can't refuse service to people. I can't just be like, oh, well, my religion says I don't serve black people. That's my deeply held religious belief. It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
the right answer, and it would be a big win.
Where's the Satanic Church? I can't wait for the Satanic Church to do their usual thing.
Answer, which won't happen, but which I would favor. Is that people have the right to refuse service to anyone for any reason, period.
Imagine.
You know, if you're
any reason. I give Matt Walsh credit all the time on this show, and I'll give him credit once again. The man's never worn a mask in his life. He just said, for any reason whatsoever. He didn't say if you're religious. He didn't say if you're gay. He didn't say if you're black. None of it. Matt Walsh just wants to live in a world where he can go, oh, you're black? Nah, go get coffee somewhere else. Oh, you're white? Come right on in. That's all it is. Matt Walsh wants the free ability to not associate with gay people, with black people, with Muslims, with Hindus, with any other group that he doesn't want to associate with. Which, well, you're not going to get that. That's pretty, we understand why Jim Crow is bad. But that's all he's arguing for. All he's arguing for is Jim Crow. But just a broad acceptance and broad, what's the word? A broad certification of Jim Crow ideology. That's all he's really interested in. And again, he hides like a coward behind free association. Like, the fuck out of here.
You're a private business owner. You have the right to refuse service to anybody. Just like those signs that we often see outside of many stores that say we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. And of course, you see the sign there, but in reality, they actually don't have that right. I think they should, but the way the laws are set up right now, they don't.
Well, yes, you do have the right to refuse service to anybody, but the actual law permits you to do so under very limited circumstances. People who are are creating distress, people who are breaking the law, hate speech is one of those. So, like, there are absolutely ways that you can, there are absolutely ways that you can refuse service to people. Absolutely. They just cannot be based on inherent characteristics.
But to me, it's pretty simple. Like, that's the simplest answer.
It's the simplest answer.
It's the answer, and it's the answer where that maximizes freedom for all involved, and that minimizes the chance of corruption, and because we're not putting the government in the position of getting involved in determining, well, is this a sincerely held religious belief? Is this not getting
right there with you, Rye.
Just this is your business. You own it. You're providing a service. You're selling a good, whatever it is, and you have the right to decide who you sell it to. That's all.
Right.
And of course,
lovely. So yeah, that's Matt Walsh's incredibly simple. Look, what if we all just be? What if we could all just be discriminatory? The thing, the thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.